Hi, my name is Atzin Madrid. Thank you for the invitation to speak at this Global Digital Week event. I think if every person who joined knows about the relevance and the key role that digital technology plays in every sector, and in the energy sector, it is not the exception. We are living in times where our energy systems are having a huge transformation, and that's mainly led because, mainly because big challenges we face with climate change and decarbonizing our energy systems. Um, so yeah, I'm going to be speaking about the role of digital technology and digitalized energy systems. So I would like to first paint a bit of a context about Mexico. So 80% of the energy in the whole energy mix of Mexico, not only on the electricity, but for cooking, heating, transport, etc., comes from fossil fuels, which is extremely high and means that only 13% of our energy comes from clean sources, which is really high. And it actually means that a lot of greenhouse gas emissions and CO2 emissions are produced because of this. And speaking only about the electricity sector, only 21% of our electricity comes from renewable sources like solar and wind energy. And that's actually really that's actually something really important to tackle because as a country, it's not only supposed to guarantee the energy security that every household, every commerce, every business industry have energy to carry out their daily activities, but also that energy is affordable and it's low carbon, and that it guarantees environmental sustainability for everyone. And at this point, Mexico is definitely falling short on this. And this is having a huge impact because, as we all know, climate change is a reality, an undeniable reality in which we see many phenomena going on, such as floods or um, um, like these huge things that are not happening now in the global south, as it was more as it was more visible, but also like things are happening in Europe, and it's just something undeniable. And not acting now and not adapting on this energy transition is going to cause some irreversible damage. So as we are all aware, the energy systems all around the world are being transformed, and that is because we're going from systems led by fossil fuels to renewable energy. And as many of us may be aware, the most mature type of renewable energies are solar and wind. And these sources are by nature intermittent, because basically we rely on the sun to shine or the wind to blow to generate that electricity. Although that being said, there are renewable energies that have not received as much support and funding to be researched and developed, like ocean energy, like tidal energy, which can be definitely more accurately predictable. But with solar and wind, we definitely need other solutions that accompany them, because obviously we couldn't just rely on them, otherwise we wouldn't have electricity and energy at night, right? So while all of this incorporation of renewable energy in the grid is great and it's amazing, and it's on the right path to decarbonizing our energy systems, it's also causing a lot of issues and a lot of complexities, because one, our systems were not designed to function on renewable energy. They were designed to function with like fossil fuels or carbon. And also it wasn't designed to work the way that it's working now, where there's a lot of decentralized energy generation. I mean, nowadays people have solar panels and batteries, and more and more the term prosumers, of like producers and consumers, is emerging. And all of this is causing a lot of disruption in the grid, and it's definitely been really hard for national grids and operators to cope with this. And just to exemplify this and make it more visible, we imagine that right now, when there's not a lot of EVs, I mean, we definitely see more and more every time, but they're not still adopted by the mass market yet. But in a few years, and especially as many countries put their policy towards decarbonizing also the transport sector, and like the case of the UK, where there's a petrol or like combustion only cars by 2030, all of the new cars that are purchased by 2030 are going to need to be either electric or some sort of electric or hybrid models, which means that where we now see only a few cars charging, then it's going to be thousands, hundreds of thousands cars charging, potentially all of them at the same time. And imagine the burden for the electricity grid at that point of time. And that same thing is happening with the heating systems. So many countries now, maybe Mexico more in the towards the northern or like southern parts, not so much in the central, but the heating and cooling systems, especially in other countries, they're also very energy intensive, and this heating is also being electrified to try to reduce the carbon emissions associated with them. And this is also, again, like adding just to that burden. So the electricity that's going to be needed in the following years is just going to be so much higher, and obviously that puts the grid into a lot of complexities. So luckily, there's already a lot of technology out there that are supporting a smoother transition and accompanying this renewable energy. And one of them is called residential demand side response, which can also be accompanied by other technologies such as batteries, such as heat pumps, smart thermostats. And basically, this platform from Equiwatt, which is a company I am a product manager of, is a company that is pioneering on this concept of the residential demand side response, which means that the energy consumed is used more, or it's consumed more intelligently and more efficiently, so it can balance the grid. Why does the grid needs to be balanced? Because in order for the grid to work properly, the generation of electricity and the consumption needs to be balanced. Otherwise, it can cause a lot of physical problems, such as blackouts and cables burning and many different things. So traditionally, the grid was balanced by always generation chasing after demand. If demand suddenly rise because it's a really cold day or because everyone's watching a football game, then the generation had to be upgraded, and then activating really consuming, polluting power plants. And they are very flexible because they can provide electricity within seconds, minutes, but that just means that they are really expensive and they are really polluting. So another way, and a more efficient and smarter way of balancing the grid, is by actually reducing the amount of energy that doesn't need to be consumed at that time. So, for instance, appliances like dishwashers or washing machines or tumble dryers, or even charging a car, if we're going to use it for tomorrow, instead of charging it at a peak time, for instance, at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., where before pandemic times, most people would actually all charge their cars. Why not schedule it so it charges, at 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning? That equally will be ready for the next day when we use it, but it's just managed, and the load is not all put into one moment of time in the grid. So Equiwatt's energy management platform uses technologies such as Internet of Things and artificial intelligence software to intelligently manage the energy at home by running these events and by gathering data and to more accurately predict how much energy is going to be consumed at some specific locations, and then based on also the renewable energy that's going to be available, and then try to match that as much as possible, and also to leverage that energy consumption without impacting the user's daily life. So this technology is already a reality, and it is actually enabling a smarter grid and a smarter energy use, because if you can predict through data, like both the generation and the consumption of energy, um, through real life data, by using smart meters, by analyzing this data, and then by automating these signals through smart home technology such as smart plugs or smart appliances, you can actually create a really smart and efficient system in which it doesn't even affect people's daily lives, because we know like life is busy and you have like many different things to worry and to do in the day. So this happens in the background. This energy saving can happen in the background and can contribute massively to a much more smoother, smart energy system. And the benefits are for everyone. The benefits can be trickled down to the energy system operators and towards the final consumer. And it's just a lot of it is just making the most of the technologies that we already have available, such as these smart platforms, and just enhancing collective impact. Thank you very much. And if you wish to know more about the energy platform or the residential demand side response or low carbon energy solutions, just feel free to drop me an email.